Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video for the ones who live. Well, we got the finale for those of you who had AMC Plus. We've had well over 12 hours to watch it, digest it, think about it, and I just wanted to do another video to talk about maybe its shortcomings and the possibility of if there's going to be anything further from here, because we all know that a season 2 has been very much a height of discussion, and when it comes to the actors and Scott Gimple being asked this in interviews, they simply say, we're not going to talk about it. So it has to be on their minds, or it has to be in the planning stages possibly. Maybe they have an idea of what they would like to do with the second season if they were to do one. But I wanted to talk about the finale, talk about the show as a whole, and just little points here and there about how I believe the show performed and the excitement that was built up around it, plus a couple, like I said, a couple of its shortcomings and the things that were kind of disappointing and what they could have possibly done to maybe even extend it 2 or 3 more episodes to really get some story in there that would have made it more high stakes, more thrill and everything surrounding the CRM. And the first little bit I want to talk about was the CRM as a whole. Like, we spent, what was it, 8 years, somewhere around there, maybe a little less, split between 3 different shows, building up the CRM, building up what a threat they are, building up how dangerous they are, and just how mighty of a force they were supposed to be. And it seems like they were all snuffed out pretty quickly. And that's just one of the little concerns I had, just one little, I guess, complaints I had. We spent, like I said, multiple years building up this force. And we had them appear in Fear the Walking Dead. We had them be the main focus of World Beyond and the main focus of this show, aside from Rick and Michonne's story that was the driving point of this show. The CRM was very much present. And it just seems like they turned out to not be quite the threat that we were made to believe they were going to be. And this could all be some plan that they have in place, but just the little things like that, where we had them be, where we had these multiple tiers of soldiers. We had, I want to say, the lower level types that we saw in World Beyond, and then we had just the next step soldiers, and then we had the red stripes and things like that. And it just seems like they didn't turn out to be as scary or as the great force that they were supposed to be, and it makes this whole thing about them seem completely pointless. Like, they were taken out. We had their elite soldiers, their frontliners, the red stripes, whatever you want to call them, and we had them all gather in a place of opportunity, and Rick and Michonne took it upon themselves, and they took upon this opportunity, and they were all wiped out very quickly. And along with that too, we had Major General Beal, who was supposed to be this great leader, this guy that knew what he was doing, who was not to be messed with, and all it took was one private meeting with Rick Grimes, and this dude was taken out. And it just all seems for naught at this point for this part of the story. So now we're left wondering what's going to come of his son. Because we had his son, I believe his name is Mason, back in World Beyond, and I don't think there was anything else about him. He never came up ever again. And then along with that too, there is what I think some little story that could be built up from the remnants of these frontliner CRMs or anybody around the world, because Beal, during his echelon briefing with Rick, talked about how they had spies implanted in multiple communities across the globe. And they were reporting back to them. And now once we have all these people that are supposed to report back, who they're reporting to, are they strictly Beal loyal and they won't talk to anybody else within the Civic Republic? So I guess that is one direction they could go. We could have all these people that were strictly loyal to Beal and his cause. And so when they realize that he's gone, all of his main soldiers of frontliners and everything, those 3,000 soldiers, they're all gone. Who they're going to report back to, or are they just going to reform into this new faction of CRM military? Are they going to come back, and is this going to cause a clash with the Civic Republic, and they're going to try to cause an uprising and then go after Rick and Michonne for doing what they did? This could be a small part, and I don't know. I just have my doubts that they'll go that direction, but I think that is possible, that this could be a driving point for the next chapter of The Ones Who Live, because we maybe get some time of peace once Rick and Michonne get home, and then they realize these people are coming for them, so they have to call upon the help of what's left of Hilltop, Alexandria. Now they have the Army of the Commonwealth and any other soldiers or anything that they come across, because there is some indications that we're going to see some other soldier types, judging from the casting call that we got for Dead City Season 2, which is supposed to ramp up filming, I believe, here in the next few months, whereas we have Daryl Dixon Season 2 set to premiere in May. And so is there going to be more CRM type things over in France? Are Madame Genet and her people going to be somehow tied to CRM and these operatives that are out there in the field that were dispatched by Major General Beal, and now that they don't have him to report back to, who are they going to report back to? Is there going to be someone else who steps up? Could it be his son that steps up and takes up that role and goes against what the Civic Republic is now doing, which is reaching out to people, letting people live freely, giving people assistance, bringing more people in, and just completely the exact opposite of what Beal wanted, because it was revealed in his echelon briefing that he wanted to simply go out and eradicate anyone that could be any kind of threat or oppose them or rise up or whatever it is, and now that's gone. So what's it really going to be? What's it going to come down to? Are we going to get more CRM story? Is this truly the end of Rick and Michonne? Now, I would like to see a season 2, but if they decide not to go that direction, if they didn't want to build a whole new story around that, I could possibly settle for Rick and Michonne making cameos within Dead City or Daryl Dixon as a way to bring everybody home, because if they do go the direction to have a new threat arise that is formerly CRM soldiers or some other new threat, I think they should stick to CRM, because to bring in a new threat now would just be kind of dumb, and we've seen it season after season. So to bring in CRM loyalists of Beal's regime, and to have Commonwealth, Alexandria, all these other people that we know, to bring back maybe even all of our OG Walking Dead characters, to really give it the proper full circle moment with Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, our OG people leading the charge, and this one last fight that they have to do to make the future safe for their children. Because I really think that it could work either way. We could do a second season or maybe even a third, but just depending on the time and everything that Denai and Andy and Scott Gamble and whoever want to dedicate to another series, when they've still got 2 other spinoffs that could fit those in there somehow. They could weave in there. But I understand too that Daryl Dixon and Dead City are their own stories, and they're supposed to be building up to whatever they're going to climax at. And then also, though, the whole premise really of Daryl's series was that he was going out looking for Rick, and now that Rick is home, how is he going to get this information? And now with Carol going after him, and Carol having done that voiceover cameo from the previous season with the famous radio session where she says so-and-so is back, could this be what she means? I think not, because you think that if she were to say Rick and Michonne are home, that would be the first thing she would tell him. There would be a lot of urgency behind it and say, get home now, that you don't have to go out looking for anybody, get home because they're already home and something's coming. So there's that, and also with Morgan supposedly still out there looking for Rick, could he get word that Rick is home and that he can come home now? And then also with Dwight and Sherry within the Fear the Walking Dead world, could they pop up back again? Because they said they were going to go home back to the sanctuary and rebuild it to what it was, make it worthy of the name or whatever. And so I think there's a lot of open-ended things out there that could possibly bring it back to a second season, or maybe just, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think it, and it's just way too soon, but maybe a impromptu kind of, not reboot, but revival of The Walking Dead to give it a proper full season 12 to close out everything, every loose end that we've seen, everything that we've since forgotten about, and to further build on this universe, because we know that this universe is not going to go anywhere anytime soon, because along with that too, as dumb or as, I guess, pointless as it would be, we could also see maybe the likes of Madison and Alicia show up in this world, but I'm kind of leaning towards no, because people got really kind of fed up with the way Madison was reintroduced along with Alicia. She was just inexplicably alive or whatever. And so I don't know if people really want to see those characters, and I could see the actors themselves kind of being done with it. But that was just kind of a breakdown of some of the complaints and some of the concerns I have for this series, and if they do continue, or how they're going to go about bringing back any characters that we want to see reunite with Rick as well, aside from his children. But also kind of one little side note that was kind of, it didn't make sense. We saw that Rick and Michonne reunited with the kids, but where the hell is everybody else that's supposed to be kind of in the guardian kind of place of these kids? And why wouldn't they go with them? Or, you know, why wouldn't there be a group of people there that want to see this? Because Judith and RJ say, hey, mom and dad are home, we're going to go see them, and everybody would just be in complete shock, but it just seems like no one gives a shit. So I thought that was kind of weird, but that's just kind of nitpicking, I guess. But anyways, just a little bit of ranting, I guess, for this. All in all, the series itself was amazing. I loved seeing these characters come back. It was beautifully written, because also with the input of Denai and Andy, it really tackled things that we wanted to see, and it did it in a way where they could compact a lot of story into each episode that didn't make it feel too rushed, but then again, it was kind of rushed. That last episode was a little bit rushed, but I will let it slide because it was still good. I mean, the things that they were able to accomplish with this series, it just did things that The Walking Dead kind of lacked its last few seasons. And so I was glad to see them come back, do their thing, and give it a somewhat satisfying ending. But again, that's just my thoughts and my complaints and whatever you want to call it, but I guess that will do it, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, if you share similar thoughts, please leave your comments down below, leave those likes, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Help me make that push to 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it. So until next time, take care. Bye.